and feel that you are right now in Jagdamba Bhavan in person with us. Before I head into further प्रोग्राम हमारे पास हिंदी लैंग्वेज भी है, तो अगर आप हिंदी लैंग्वेज सुनना चाहते हैं तो आप नीचे के बटन में इंटरप्रिटेशन पर जा सकते हैं और वहाँ पे हिंदी लैंग्वेज चूज करें, तो आप हिंदी लैंग्वेज में सुन पाएंगे. So, I also do remember that, Papa often says that when we Brahmins come together, we create a powerful atmosphere. And I recollect one of the Avyak Murli, where Bab Dada said that when there is this gathering of Brahmins, there is Madhuban. And I do feel that Jagdamba Bhavan is like mini Madhuban. And so today we have Brother Charlie with us, who was supposed to be with us last weekend in Jagdamba Bhavan. But drama is such that, it has its own plan. And we all know that every scene of drama is beneficial. So let me share a little bit of background of Brother Charlie. Brother Charlie came into knowledge in 1975 in the UK. He took a lot of sustenance from Dadi Janki in his spiritual childhood, as he stayed in London for a couple of years, and then he came to Australia to sustain the souls in Australia. And he is currently the national coordinator for Australia and a chair of the BK board in Australia. He is also Didi Nirmala's right hand for regional coordinator of Australia. And I have the fortune to be around Brother Charlie. And I always say that the speciality that I see in him is of a mother. He really, even though he's in this male costume, he has this sanskara of a mother, very caring, very gentle, and always there around. He's very available, no matter what. Even though he's busy and you want to talk to, he's there. And even anyone, whether it's in old in Gyan or, young in Gyan, everyone feels very comfortable to go to him and share. He's almost like a friend. We always, have this relation with his brother Charlie, even though he's very senior, but there's this friendly relation. So definitely I call him Jagat Amba, and he also plays the role of sustaining the souls around the world. So I can go on and on, but I will stop here. And before I hand over to Brother Charlie, we have Sunanda Didi with us, who would like to share a few words to welcome Brother Charlie.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Baba's lucky child, very, very sincere, अथक सेवाधारी, निरंतर योगी, respected Charlie Bhai, welcome, welcome, welcome to Jagadamba Bhavan. Please take.
I'm taking.
And you arrange your program as early possible to Jagadamba Bhavan.
I will. Thank you so much, Sananda Didi, and I can see
Sheetal Ben.
Sheetal Ben is there too. Hello, Sheetal Ben. Good
Om
morning.
Shanti. Happy to see you. We are feeling you in Jagdamba Bhavan.
Thank you so much. I also feel I'm finally visiting. So thank you for your lovely welcome. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you.
So over to you, Charlie. Bye.
So thank you so much, Sister Dorothy, and thank you so much, Sananda Didi and Sheetal Ben. It's really very special to be with you both, everyone online at the moment. And I should probably first of all apologize that I didn't make it last weekend. I was saying to Sister Sheetal and Sister Prema, who have been so kind in arranging my visit, that actually, in my 47 years with Baba, I think only once I've had to cancel a program because of health. last weekend was the second time. So my great apologies, and next time I come back to India, I really have the intention to not just visit Pune, but visit Jagadamba Bhavan and enjoy the family and the beautiful atmosphere there. So today I'd really like to share about really, I think, a very deep thing in our Brahman journey, which is to accept my part in drama. And perhaps I could say that it's one of the great wisdoms of Brahman life. Sometimes Bapdada says that contentment is the greatest virtue of all. Because in one way, when I can accept myself, accept my part in drama, I will know the beauty of this beautiful life, which is to remain content, regardless of the company I'm with or the situation, whatever is happening around me. And I have a memory when I was early in Gyan in the 1980s. Bapdada was meeting the double foreigners. And Baba said, "Children, you have 3 tilaks." And then Baba got his finger and he began to demonstrate, and he said, the first tilak is the tilak of the soul, and Baba went. The second tilak is the tilak of God, and again Baba went like this in the center of the forehead. The third tilak is the tilak of drama. And Baba said then, sometimes it goes here, sometimes it goes here, sometimes it goes here. And actually Baba was amusing. He was having fun with the children, but in fact he was saying something incredibly deep. That I feel many of us, we make so much effort on a daily basis to improve our soul conscious practice. We are always trying to come closer to Baba. But sometimes my relationship with drama is lacking. You know, I haven't really absorbed the depth of drama. And in fact, it has a huge influence on the quality of my Brahman life. And I need to ask my heart, how much do I accept drama? How much do I accept my part in drama? How much do I accept others' parts in drama? And when we look at the cycle, the 5,000-year story, our 5,000-year story, when we begin the cycle, the soul is full, completely full. And I'm dancing in tune with my part perfectly. Even though in the Golden Age we are different personalities, and there is a hierarchy. We have the emperor and empress, the royal family, the wealthy subjects, the subjects. And yet I remain completely satisfied with my part. Why? Because I'm full of self-love and I'm full of self-respect. Now let's fast forward to the end of the cycle. The soul is empty. I don't have love or respect for myself. And so I can't accept my part. I find it very difficult to accept others' parts, and very challenging sometimes to accept the scenes of drama. And, you know, my definition of waste thought. What is waste thought? So many times Baba says, children, deal with your account of waste. Baba often says, as much waste, that's how much I lack power. There's this deep relationship between power and waste. The more waste, the less spiritual power I have. To me, the definition of waste is a lack of understanding or acceptance of my part and the scenes of drama. When I don't accept my part in the scenes of drama, It's like I'm fighting drama. In my mind, a situation happens, someone says something, someone does something, and up here in my mind I begin to fight. I may not say anything, but in my mind I can't accept that scene of drama. The drama is eternal, predestined, and fixed, and yet I'm fighting that which is always going to happen. And many times I think, well, how can I tell how much I am really accepting drama and accepting my part in the drama? It really depends on the amount of waste. If I find in my life, I love Baba, I'm a committed Brahmin, but regularly I have a lot of waste thoughts about others, even maybe the Brahmin family sometimes, then it shows, it's indicating to me, I still need to go much, much deeper into the understanding of drama. Because in the confluence age, Baba comes to heal the fractured soul. And I remember once Baba said, contentment is the great treasure of the confluence age. Contentment's like an inner glow inside, a beautiful glow. That glow is, I feel comfortable with who I am. I'm satisfied with my part, and I'm satisfied with others' parts. And Baba went on to say that constant contentment is, no matter how much the scenes of drama change, my contentment doesn't change. Is it easy? Is it easy? We all know, don't we? Our habit, our addiction is to react, have waste thoughts about situations. And yet Baba, the highest on high teacher, is wanting us to absorb the truth of drama so deeply that really no matter what comes in front of me, I don't create wasteful thoughts. I become the detached observer of these eternal and fixed scenes of drama. And so, what is my relationship with drama? We have a relationship with Baba. That's easy because Baba's constantly loving, constantly sweet, constantly peaceful and pure. But the relationship with drama. Drama is like a moody person. Have you ever lived with a moody person? Or have you ever worked with a moody person? Every day you don't know how they're going to wake up. Are they going to be sweet with you? They're going to be grumpy with you? Are they going to talk to you? Are they going to not talk to you? We don't know. In a way, drama's like that. Drama has many moods. And so, what is my relationship with drama? Do I fight with drama? Do I reject the scenes of drama? I don't like that. I didn't like what happened. Do I try to control drama? I want things to happen according to my wishes. Do I accept my part in drama? Do I accept others' parts in drama? If I find in my head I'm fighting with drama, rejecting drama, trying to control drama, it's actually showing me I don't have a healthy relationship with drama. My relationship with Baba may be beautiful, but still I have to improve my relationship with drama. Why? Because if my relationship with drama isn't good, it keeps breaking my link with Baba. I'm remembering Baba, and I see a behavior, I hear about a situation, it disturbs me, because that scene of drama disturbs me, cuts my link with Baba. So if I don't have a healthy relationship with Baba, it keeps cutting with drama, it keeps cutting my link with Baba. And so if I have a healthy relationship with drama, if I'm truly the one who understands deeply this eternal fixed game in which we are all involved, it helps me remain close to Baba in every scene of drama. And, you know, many times I think about these things and, you know, what would you say is a body-conscious relationship with drama? As I've been saying, you know, the drama is fixed. The drama is eternal. The drama is unchanging. That is so deep. And so if I start to say things like, oh, that was a good scene of drama, or that was a bad scene of drama, I liked this scene, I didn't like this scene, that's body consciousness actually. The drama is, it just is. It's not good or bad, or right or wrong, it just is. And then actually, it's almost like I'm watching a film. Every time you watch the film, it's the same. It's actually, all the drama does is trigger what is in me. So I see a scene of drama, it triggers happiness in me, I feel happy. I see a scene of drama, it triggers disturbance or unhappiness in me. The soul with knowledge will see the self. Oh, I reacted to that scene. So the drama's revealing to me who I am. But the soul without knowledge keeps trying to blame the drama, takes waste from the drama, keeps trying to control and change the scenes of drama. You can't. But you can change your reaction to drama. This is a Jnani soul's approach to my relationship with drama. If I keep thinking that the drama is my best teacher, because the drama will keep triggering feelings, and this is how I know what effort I need to make. For me, if I'm in a scene of drama and something affects me a little bit, affects my mood a little bit, I begin to reflect, why did I allow this scene of drama? Not why did this person do this or why did this happen, but more, why did I react to this? And this is really, I think, the Jnani way to really look at the scenes of drama. How do I know I don't really have a healthy relationship with drama? When I'm constantly reacting. A little scene happens and I just have an explosion of wasteful thinking. Maybe for a few minutes, maybe for a few hours, maybe for a few weeks even. Or sometimes it just goes on and on in my life. I can't let go what happened. This is actually my impurity. And this is what I've really learned in my Brahman journey. It's all about me. It's not about others and the drama. It's how I respond to everything. Because I can't change anything out there. Where I have power is in here, and I can change my responses to people and situations. And so, first, the sign of an unhealthy relationship with drama, I react. Second, I reject. It's like I want to rewrite the script. That shouldn't have happened. How can we ever say that now we know the drama? It's eternal. We know that the law of karma means at the moment many strange scenes will happen in this drama. But a soul with depth of truth will understand it's going to happen at this time. All the accounts of the past are flushing out. They're all coming out. My responsibility is to stay close to Baba and have this loving relationship with drama where I observe the scenes rather than absorb the scenes which are coming in front of me. The third thing, the sign of an unhealthy relationship, I try to control the drama. I have such a desire for an outcome. I have such a desire that, I get this role in service. Such a desire that people will acknowledge me or praise me. And if it doesn't happen, I feel very upset. And so often we try to manipulate drama, control the scene of drama to fulfill my need, to fulfill my desire inside. You know, what is a soul-conscious approach to drama? The one in soul consciousness will make so much effort for a good outcome, that things will work well. But the second the scene takes place, whatever happens, I accept. I accept that scene. This is really like almost putting a full stop. It's happened. If I let it dangle in my head, keep on thinking and having waste about it, it's like I lose all my spirituality and my spiritual power. When I'm soul conscious, I understand whether the result of the scene was sweet or bitter. It is what it is. It's perfect. It's the eternal nature of the drama. I accept it and I move on. I've made effort for a good outcome, but if it didn't happen, I still accept the outcome. You know, once I remember we were sitting with Bab Dada in the meditation hall, actually, probably in the early 1980s, and there was a brother from France who was there, and he was having a lot of kidney problem, probably a little bit like me last weekend. And he had this pang of pain. Baba was having personal meetings. Someone was sitting in front of Baba and Baba was giving blessings. And this brother had pain and he screamed. He screamed so loudly. And the whole hall just, he was sitting, you know, over this side, went like this. What happened, you know? The human reaction. What happened? You know, Baba just kept finishing his blessing. He finished his sentence, then slowly he looked over and looked at this brother who was lying there holding his side. And Baba said, "Is he okay? Is he all right?" And it was amazing. We saw how reactive we were to drama, how Baba was absolutely beyond the influence of drama. And yet still, Baba showed love, Baba showed care. It wasn't aloof, but how really the ultimate wisdom is to be totally detached and totally loving at the same time, as Bab Dada demonstrated. I remember once also in Australia, we had a Daddy Prakashman who was visiting. It was 1986. And that's now 36 years ago. And we had a wonderful program in a university for a whole day. And we had well over 2,000 people at this program. And it was incredibly successful. And you could imagine we were only about 10 years of service. We were very intoxicated. And after the program, we went back to the center and had dinner. Then Daddy Ji met all the Divine Family. She praised, wonderful program, excellent program. And then she said, "You are all so happy now. If no one had come, will you still been as happy as you are now?" And really, it was a real amazing question, actually. We were happy because the outcome was good. But would we remain just as happy if no one had come? And this is really, I think, a true Brahmin. You know, I keep a good stage, I make the effort, but whatever happens, I don't let that control how I feel. And I even remember once we were actually in San Francisco. I was in San Francisco for a program. And it was actually in the square where the League of Nations was formed. Post-World War II, the League of Nations began in San Francisco and then began to be called the United Nations as we know it today. And there's a beautiful square in the heart of San Francisco. And the Brahmin family in San Francisco had hired that square, put up a stage, and at 5 p.m. in the evening, tens of thousands of people come out from their jobs. And they were going to have a peace program. It was September the 16th, which is International Day of Peace. and they were going to have a big program in there, and I was going to say something. Anyway, they put months and months of effort, and the day of the program, there was absolutely torrential rain. And they said they never get rain at that time of year in San Francisco. It was so heavy. As a result, about 15 people came, and they were like the people who live on the streets. And we were completely wet. I did give my talk, but I was like totally wet. Drips were coming from my nose as I was speaking. And yet, when we returned back to the center, everyone was so happy. We were laughing and we were light. And I said to everyone, this is such a successful program. They were expecting 5,000 people and 15 came. It was so successful because the Brahmin family remained happy, even though the outcome was nothing like they were hoping for. But still they remained absolutely happy and light. So in that way, for me, it was really like an incredibly successful program. And, you know, the soul is really the wonder of nature. Recently, a person in Australia said to me, the soul is just a point, right? And this body, you know, science now says they believe the body is made up of 40 trillion cells. Can you believe that? Incredible, 40 trillion little building blocks make up this body. I am a soul, and I, the soul, one soul, am more subtle than even one cell. You think deeply. I am this minute soul. And you know, once I met a physicist, a world-famous physicist, Professor Paul Davies, and he wrote a book, and in his book he wrote, the ultimate unknowable for science is a point. A point is beyond matter. That is who I am. I'm just this point, this soul. You know, when we really think the soul is beyond matter, it's so subtle, it's non-physical. And yet, in that point, the entire part is recorded. The entire part of every millisecond of 5,000 years. Jagdish Bhai, who is really such a wonderful personality, he once said, excuse me, the soul is like a long playing record. Do you remember the old LPs, the vinyl LPs that you put on the gramophone with a needle? There may be some listening who've never seen that, I don't know, but he said the soul is like the long playing record. The needle is time. Wherever the needle touches the record, the part emerges. The part comes out. Time lifts the part out of the soul. The soul is so extraordinary. This eternally recorded part is sitting in my memory track. And even a friend of mine in Australia, he's a medical scientist, and he once, I was talking to him about these things. Actually, he's a filmmaker too, and he makes films about reincarnation. And you know, he got his hand and he banged it like this. He said, feels solid, doesn't it? I said, of course, yeah, it feels very solid. He said, you know, according to science, it's 99.999% space. When you really look at an electron, and I'm not a scientific person, but an electron has a nucleus with all the protons and electrons going around, the electrons going around. And mainly it's space. So even this body, he said, is more like a hologram. So I, this point, sit in this hologram and I play my part through this temporary hologram. Essentially, there are 3 recordings in my part. There is the soul conscious recording. this soul-aware recording where I'm dancing in tune with my part. As my part emerges, I just play it automatically, absolutely in tune, in harmony with my part. But when I become body conscious, when this subtle point identifies with the hologram of the body, two children emerge, my ego. When I'm under the influence of my ego, I compare with others. In body consciousness, I'm constantly comparing with others. And sometimes I compare and I think, I don't like my part. I'd like your part. I want to be more like you. So my ego deceives me and puts me in conflict with my part, my eternal part. Or the other child of body consciousness is the ego of inferiority, or my lack of self-respect. And this is when I feel I reject my part, I don't like my part. Unfortunately, sometimes some people even hate their part. Once again, in conflict with myself. And so these recordings are in the soul too. And I would say that my part is absolutely fascinating. That here I am sitting in the present. Today is the 26th of March 2022. And yet recorded in this minute point is my whole past and my future. As I sit now, where the needle is touching the record, my part is coming out, I'm speaking to you. But my future is sitting there too. And this is why we sometimes have what we call deja vu. I think most of us in our lives have the experience of deja vu, where sometimes we dream something and the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year, we walk into that dream in real life. You know, once I was in Scotland, in the north of England, and I was with a friend of mine, this is before I was a BK, and we were sitting in a room, and suddenly he said, oh, I dreamt this last night. And he said, soon this door will open and this person will come through wearing this. And sure enough, the door opened and that person came. And we could not logically understand how that could have happened, you know, because we didn't have knowledge at that time. And yet now we know the whole part. And this is why some people are psychic, because somehow they tune into the future part, into the soul. Or when we dream at night. Dreams are extraordinary, aren't they? Because when you dream, sometimes you dream of things that happened today, and it's mixed in with things which happened in your childhood, and mixed in with other things you've had no conscious awareness of, usually of my past lives, and they're all jumbled together. This is actually the wonder of the part in the human soul. And so Baba actually talks to us about four things: my part, my role, my story, and my eternal self. My part is like the script in the subconscious. And that script can hold my actual nature or my unique quality. By that I mean some of us are essentially introvert, others are essentially extrovert. So that might be my part in most births. Or some are very creative, or some are more sustainers, some are both. So this is like the programming in my part. It's like a script. So it's like the computer program in the soul, the part. If I identify with my part, then that's when I get into this, sometimes liking my part or disliking my part. But secondly, there's my role, which is the expression of my part. So when my part comes into action, I play a role. My role might be to run a center, My role might be to live in a center. My role might be to be a family person, a colleague, a partner, a parent. We play all these roles. But when I forget who I am and I identify with my role, that's when I start to have jealousy, competition. So I've deceived, I've forgotten who I am, I think I'm the role, and that's when all these other emotions come, like jealousy, competition, etc. My story is really what has happened. And my story is my memory track, in a sense, what I consciously remember. And, you know, I find a lot of people constantly remember things like how I've been treated, what people have done to me, what people have said to me, what happened. And I identify so deeply with that story, so deeply, and I take so much sorrow. In fact, sometimes I feel that even more than my attachment to this body, this temporary hologram which I'm sitting in, is attachment to my story, what has happened, how I've been treated, what people have done. That, if I identify with that, I feel stuck. I can't really transform. The fourth thing is my eternal self, the soul. And really, when I am truly soul-conscious, I realize I'm not my part, I'm not my role, I'm not my story. I am the soul. I play a part, I play a role, I have a story, but it's not who I am. And even, you think of Bap Dada. Bap Dada says, I play a part, but he's absolutely detached from his part. And that's what Baba is teaching us to do now. Children, play your part, but Baba is totally objective. He just comes and plays his part and talks about his part. He facilitates the change from the Iron Age to the Golden Age. He's got the greatest part in the drama, and yet Baba is totally detached from his part. Daddy Prakashmani, if you were to invite her to Pune or wherever you are watching from, you know what she used to say? We'd say, Daddy Ji, we want you to visit our center in Pune. And she would answer and say, well, if Bap Dada gives Daddy Ji permission, then Daddy Ji will come. She talked about herself in the third person, like she talked about her part like it was just happening. It's not who I am. I'm just playing this part. This is the wisdom of Brahman life, to ultimately become so soul-conscious that I become detached from my part, from my role, from my story. And you know the beauty of that? I feel so close to Baba. Because when I'm attached to my part, my role, my story, my mind is full of feeling a victim. I feel a victim in situations. I feel this is unfair. I feel hurt. I feel upset. So where does my thinking go? I'm always trying to process life. And what happens? I forget Baba. I forget this one here. And this is so deep, actually, because what I've observed, excuse me, what I've observed is that if I don't really understand deeply what the part is in the soul, then I come under the influence of, I think, one of the most powerful vices that we don't really understand deeply, which is jealousy. You know, I was in a meeting once with Dada Janki, and she made a statement. Actually, it was to all the national coordinators of the countries around the world. She said, jealousy is the seed of all obstacles. And if I'm honest, I thought, Daddy, really? The seed of all obstacles? And you know, when I began to think about it, I began to realize that most of our conflict, and I would say the majority, is because of jealousy. And then I remembered a class Daddy Ji gave. You know, Dadiji toured the world in 1977. She went to every centre outside of India. I had just moved to Melbourne in those days. I was a very new BK. And I remember her class, she was talking about the Ramayana. And she actually said the Ramayana is about two vices, jealousy and imagination. And then she went on, she said, these are the vices of Brahmins. Sometimes imagination, meaning we read into situations things that aren't happening. You know, I see someone sitting and talking to somebody and I think, oh, maybe they're talking about me, or maybe this, or maybe that. You know, how the mind can imagine and create a whole scenario that's not true. It's all the creation. Actually, this is impurity, my impurity. But also jealousy. And you know, in the Christian religion, they don't talk about 5 vices, they talk about the 7 deadly sins, which are, yes, anger, lust, ego, greed, attachment, plus sloth, which is laziness, and jealousy. What is jealousy? Jealousy is an emotion experienced in anticipation of losing something I value. Jealousy is an emotion experienced in anticipation of losing something I value. I value my relationship with somebody. Somebody gives me a lot of affection and love. A third person comes along and they seem to start giving them love and affection. The result? I feel jealousy. A senior gives me a lot of attention, and then someone else comes along, they start to give that person a lot of attention. The result? I feel jealous. There's jealousy in relationship. There's jealousy in roles. I'm playing a part in Baba's task, or even in my Lokik world. And then someone comes along that threatens that. They're capable. And so jealousy emerges. How do I know when I'm under the influence of jealousy? Whenever I hear that person's name spoken, or if someone says, oh, they're such a good teacher, they're so sweet, if the tiniest feeling happens inside, a little tiny hurt or feeling, or that's jealousy. That's jealousy. And the process of jealousy, I compare. The first thing I compare, actually in body consciousness, at every millisecond when we're body conscious, we're comparing. We're comparing myself with others. And if I compare with another person and they seem wiser, more popular, clever, capable, secondly, I feel threatened. So first I compare, and if that person seems better than me, I feel threatened by them. Now it's not conscious. This is all subconscious. Because they are threatening something I value. I value my closeness to you. I value my role in the Brahmin family. I value my role in the center. This person seems to be threatening. And so, thirdly, I start to become wary of that person. Even I begin to mistrust that person. I'm convinced that person is not trustworthy, but actually the problem is my jealousy. You know, I remember once Baba meeting a group and they had come to sit in front of Baba from a center to complain to Bab Dada about their teacher. They didn't do it even to Dadiji. They went direct to Bab Dada. And they made the complaint. And you know, Baba, was the only time I really saw Bab Dada very strict. Very strict. Bab Dada said, I know my daughter. She is not like this. Baba was very strong. Because jealousy had emerged in them. They'd all talked together and convinced each other of this problem. But Baba absolutely cleared it in 10 seconds. He was very, very strong with this group. And finally, first I compare, I feel threatened, then I perhaps mistrust, or I'm always wary. I oppose that person, and I start, whatever they do, I will read a negative motive into them. Whatever they're doing, I'm thinking, why are they doing this? Because they want this, or this is happening. I'm reading some negative motive. The problem is really my jealousy. And really, I think that when I start to absolutely understand my part in drama, accept my part in drama, I won't be threatened by these feelings of jealousy. You know, what I've realized is that if I find it hard to accept another person's part, whether it's in my Lokik family, in the Brahmin family, in the workplace, the deepest reason is that I still haven't accepted my part. When I fully and deeply accept my part in drama, I can easily accept everyone else's part. If I'm battling with other people and their part and how they behave and what they do and how they do, the reason I still haven't fully accepted my part in drama. And this is why really, if I feel jealousy, and we've all felt jealousy, let's be honest, it's a vice which we all come with. And sometimes I feel we don't recognize it. We don't see it deeply in ourselves. But it takes me to the heart of my spirituality, actually. It takes me to the absolute heart of spirituality. Because it seems that, you know, the question comes, you know, how much have I shifted from seeing others to seeing the self? Gyan is to see the self. Bhakti, body consciousness, is to keep watching others. And if I'm having jealousy, it's because still my mind is extrovert. My mind is lost in people, their behaviors, their opinions, what they're doing, what they should be doing, what they're not doing, etc. And I remember once Baba said, the one who follows the path of truth will see the self. The one who follows the path of falsehood keeps looking at others. And honestly, as you know, that beautiful word in Hindi, pa-chintan, the mind engrossed in others, thinking about others, this is body consciousness. And it's this thinking that leads to jealousy as well. Gyan is swa-chintan, creating the most elevated and pure quality of thoughts about the self. So if I'm experiencing jealousy, it's showing me, it's revealing to me I'm still in the game of watching others and seeing what others are doing rather than seeing what I should be doing. Secondly, if I'm feeling jealous, it reveals, where do I seek love and attention? Am I still seeking it from human beings? Because if I am, I will definitely be jealous at different times, definitely. Because ultimately, at the heart of this life, the most powerful point of spiritual knowledge is to have all relationships with one Shiv Baba. This is the truth that will take the soul to the highest destination. And even I've observed, you know, why are we all here? We love Baba. We're all here because we love Baba. But it's a very subtle thing. Often we remember Baba, my stage goes up. In a millisecond, I begin to remember a family member, whether it's attraction or repulsion, whether it's love or I'm hurt, upset about something. As soon as the subtle thread of the intellect goes to that bodily being, what is subtly happening inside me? I'm giving power back to my old body conscious sanskaras. So I remember Baba, I touch my elevated sanskaras, I go up. Then I remember a human being in the next second, a name and form. And once again, my power goes down. And this is why often Brahmins don't feel progress, because still the subtle thread of my intellect gets lost in bodily beings, and I keep giving power back to my body conscious sanskaras, to my impurity. And that's why I think, excuse me, I've been a Brahmin for so many years, but I don't think I've really progressed like I feel I should have. The third thing, do I have the self-respect of my part in drama? Do I have the self-respect of my part in drama? I think that for half the cycle we've defined ourselves by what I do. I do an action, I get love, I get respect, I get praise, I get a title, I get money. This has been our mode of life, doing and receiving. And it's so deep in us. So when we come into the Brahmin family, even though we love Baba, we start to do service, but we do have a desire. It may be very subtle. We want some recognition, some respect, some title, some role, some response in that way. If my desire is fulfilled, I'm happy. If my desire is not fulfilled, I'm not happy. I don't feel happy. And I think one of the deepest things is to get to the point in my Brahmin journey. I live in this amazing Brahmin family, so talented. Now like about 1 million Brahmins, so many talented Brahmins, but wisdom is that I feel comfortable with who I am. I feel comfortable with my part in the drama. And this is really, I think, the great wisdom of this Brahman life, that I live with all these talented souls, all these souls full of specialties. But I have the wisdom to know my specialties and appreciate the specialties of others. And in a way, it's the biggest learning curve in our Brahman life is rebuilding step by step my self-value. When my self-respect is high, I feel so comfortable with myself and my part I'm playing. If my self-respect is low, almost every day I feel threatened, I feel hurt by the scenes of drama, I'm convinced some people are difficult, some people are giving me a difficult time, some people are threatening, I feel jealous, and so I start to battle with people inside my head. And then we don't really enjoy this Brahman journey. And so really I would say to accept, to understand and accept my part in drama is really the stage of contentment, the stage of wisdom. And then I can enjoy everybody else's part in drama. I can remember Daddy Janki saying, everyone compares me to Daddy Prakashmani and Daddy Gulzar. And I remember her saying, they are the most extraordinary souls, but I also have my specialties. We will all be compared with others. But if I lack self-respect, I will take that in a bad way. But if I have self-respect, I know I have specialties and others do too. One thing that really helped me in my Brahman journey is when I realized that, there's some things I can do okay, but there's some things I can't do. And actually just to accept that I'm not good at some things, it's okay. I'm quite happy that I can do some things okay, but other things not so okay. But other Brahmins will have those specialties. This is Baba's task. Baba is working through all of us. And I feel that when I begin to deeply accept my part, I begin to enjoy my part. And I love this Brahman life because for me, I made a decision many years ago, many years ago, that I'm going to really enjoy my Brahman life. I'm going to enjoy this life. And we only have this time with Baba in the whole cycle. So am I enjoying my Brahman life? Do I accept my part? It's so important that we do. Okay, excuse me, and I think I forgot to mention at the beginning that there will be some time for some questions. Maybe some questions have already come, but I think Sister Dorothy is going to read out a few of the questions.
Yes. Thank you so much, Brother Charlie, for sharing, so many points on drama and really taking us to the depth of those points. And I really liked where you mentioned about Dadiji, and how she used to ask Bab Dada and see her as a third person. And I think that's really a good way to practice our part and in the drama and be detached and, like Baba says, loving to Baba. So there is one question where someone has asked that you have had the fortune to be around daddies. So do you recall any of such memories where daddy stood unshakable and immovable in difficult scenes of drama?
I do. But just before I share that, Darcy,
Yeah.
that when you were saying about Daddy G, I remember once Daddy Jenki told us that she was having a meal with Daddy G. And something had happened, and Daddy Jenki was telling a story to Daddy G. So Daddy G was sitting there eating her food, and Daddy Jenki said, Daddy G, this person did this and said this, and then this happened and that happened. And Daddy Jenki said that Daddy G just kept eating. Then Daddy Jenki went on, and then this happened, and they went there, and this happened, and then she said I went on and on and on for 5 or 6 minutes. And when I stopped, Daddy G just stopped and said, drama? And Daddy Jenki said, really, I realized that I sort of got caught up in a scene of drama. And the way Daddy G just was eating, then as when I finished, he just said that one word, drama. But I do remember 2 things actually. One with Daddy Jenki. I was in London when I started, and I was renting a house near the centre. When I became a BK, I moved near the centre, and Daddy Jenki said, I want to see where you're living. So I invited Daddy and Gentiben over to my place where I was living with another brother. And when they came, I was showing them around. The landlord appeared, and for some reason he got so angry at us, at Daddy. And I just saw Daddy Jenki was absolutely, not only just completely non-reactive, but absolutely sweet with this person. He was really very angry, yelling and screaming. Excuse me. And I even remember also that I was in a meeting once with Daddy Jenki, and this person, excuse my throat, this person ran in and said, Daddy, this brother just left the body 5 minutes ago. And Daddy Jenki's response was not, what happened? Why did he? Straight away she went, oh my sweet brother, and she started to talk about his virtues. Just straight away, instantly. He'd only left the body 5 minutes. But she didn't say, what happened? Why did this? She didn't get into all the shock. Instantly. And I remember once I observed Daddy G also. She was meeting a group of people, a group of Brahmins actually, in the courtyard in Pandav Bhavan. And Daddy G used to come out of her room on the way to her dining room, which was not too far from Baba's room. And when she'd come into the courtyard, she'd always meet everyone and acknowledge them. So she'd nod her head to everyone. And she came in front of one person. And really this person was quite rude to Daddy, quite rude. And I saw no change on Daddy's face. She just kept on meeting people and giving them that smile and that love. completely, I could see she didn't absorb any of this person's behavior at all. And really, I feel these days that we really need Baba's detachment. And why I say Baba's detachment, because often detachment is the most misinterpreted virtue of all, because a lot of us interpret detachment as being not speaking or being aloof or cut off or not communicating. To me, detachment is to be very loving, very caring, very close, communicating, but uninfluenced. This is purity. Impurity is about influence. If I'm in a situation and things aren't going well and it affects me, that's my impurity. That's how I can tell the impurity still remaining in the soul. But if I'm in a situation and things aren't going well or people are getting disturbed and I remain uninfluenced, that's purity. And then I can influence positively such a group of people. Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Charlie. That's really a beautiful definition of detachment. So there is another question. It says that I accept that I may not be good at something, but people expect me to do that. Then how to deal with it?
You know, there's no doubt sometimes we have to learn new things, but, you know, sometimes I think we have to have self-respect. It's the destination of this life. Once even Bapdada said, another way of describing soul consciousness is taking back my self-value and my self-respect, because I can't be everything to all people. There are some people who want me to be perfect in every way. Perfect in character, perfect in action, perfect in responsibility. I might be good at two of them, but one of them maybe I'm still learning. And sometimes we do get the drishti of expectation from people. A lot of expectation. And sometimes we can't fulfill that expectation, but I shouldn't lose my self-respect as a result. And even for me, if that drishti comes on me, I might say, you know, please understand I'm making effort. Thank you for helping me get better at this, but please be patient with me. And if you have any advice for me, how I can improve in this area, I will try. But in a way, not to lose your self-respect. To me, I think, you know, does my self-respect fluctuate depending on people and the scenes of drama? That is showing me still that I'm body conscious. And really, when the greatest gift from Baba is to take my self-respect. And as much as I have self-respect, I can respect everyone. As much as I have self-respect, you know, I will be humble. As much as I have self-respect, I will be loving and others will love me. This was Daddy Gulzar. She was absolutely egoless and she won everyone's love. Ego, what is self-respect? It's, you know, the expression of self-respect is humility, actually. It's humility. So I think, you know, I've taken the pressure off myself to be everything to everyone. You can't. But you can make the effort to improve yourself. But no matter what expectations others have on you, don't let your own self-respect go. It's very important.
Thank you, Brother Charlie. Yes, that's definitely using the virtue of humility there. So there is this another question. I guess they are pretty new, but I think we would still like to hear an answer from you. So the question is, does drama gives a margin of changing the part in the next cycle? knowing that the suffering is going to be the same and it's a bit scary and gets more scarier while knowing that the same is going to repeat.
But you know, it's only scary because we only see this life. You know, this is the last life, the 84th birth, and this is my lowest stage. And you know, when I'm body conscious, I'm trapped in the present. When I'm soul conscious, I can taste the feeling of the whole cycle. Actually, for most of us, 90%, at least 80% is excellent, the cycle. You know, we're totally pure for 50%. But even in the copper age, I'm still relatively pure. So I have a lot of happiness. It's only, I would say, it's like the curve goes like this, and right near the end of the cycle. And so we start to judge the whole cycle on this life and feel, oh, I'm going to repeat this once again. But actually, think you're repeating the golden age, you're repeating the silver age, you're repeating the beauty of the copper age too. So yes, the part is eternal and indelible. And this is why really, when I understand this deeply, whatever I am doing now is in a sense creating my part for the future. This is a very deep thing to understand. Because in a sense, if I follow Baba and I follow Baba's directions and I really become a true Brahman, have all relationships with one, I get spiritual power. And that spiritual power will influence my part for a lot of the cycle. So what I do now will, in a sense, reflect in almost the whole cycle in the future. This is something so deep to think about. It's very deep, and I understand, you know, the question that many people have. Well, if it's eternal, why do I need to make effort? Well, it means that if you don't make effort, then eternally that's your part. But if you do make effort, and you really do elevate yourself, then that's your part eternally. Because, you know, the part is eternal and fixed, but tomorrow you don't know what you're doing, what you will do, because it depends on what you're doing now in your Brahman life with Baba. These things, I know sometimes they're hard to understand at first. This is meditation, to go reflect deeply on the concept of eternity and the fixed part in the soul.
Thank you again for explaining it very clearly. So we have a few more questions, if that's okay.
That's fine.
We have a question where it's asking that, you know, you mentioned something about the dream. So when we dream of something, someday we walk into that dream. And I think I understand this question as the deja vu, I guess.
Yes.
And they're asking that, can you please share your personal experience if you have any?
I haven't had so many experiences of deja vu, but what it's really telling you is the whole part is in the soul. You know how sometimes hypnotherapists regress people to the past? Often if someone has a trauma or some problem in their present life, it's because of an experience in their past life, so they regress them and help them understand that experience, and often it can help them deal with how that experience is affecting them now. Actually, this happened to me in Australia once. One man was in the Australian Royal Air Force. He was flying F-111s that fly beyond the speed of sound. He was a pilot. But he said he had panic attacks when he would fly, which is quite dangerous. You know, he felt absolutely terrified. And he didn't know why, and in the end, it's a long, long, long story. And if I was to tell that story, we'd be here until the afternoon. And I know you all have things to do. But he went to a psychic. And it turns out that he had been in the Second World War in Europe, and he had crashed as a pilot. And it actually, he said, as a child, he had dreams of a man standing beside a plane. It made so much sense to him. And once also, there's a very famous American woman called Elizabeth Kubleros. She was a psychiatrist, and she talked a lot about grief and why we have grief. And she used to regress people too. So once she decided to progress people into the future and ask them what they saw. And she did it with 40 people, I think, 30 or 40 people, I forget the exact number. And she was in Los Angeles. She said, okay, go into the future so many years, what do you see? And you know, the majority of them, like 80%, saw a similar thing. Actually, they saw Los Angeles destroyed by an earthquake. So they had a similar experience. So it's like the past is recorded in me and the future is recorded in me. Now, some people have some unique gift where somehow they can tune into their part of the future and share. Like one famous person is Nostradamus, who lived in Europe about 400 or 500 years ago, who many feel is predicting all the things which are happening in the world at this time. So some people have that psychic ability, but it's just they're tuning into their part in their subconscious.
Thank you, Brother Charlie. So there is now this question, and I guess the person might be an architect. So the question is related to that: can I know when an architect's role will start in Satyuga? Is it is it true, and is it true that an architect's soul at this birth will take birth as an architect in Satyuga? How would be the role of an architect in Satyuga?
What to say? Honestly, our profession doesn't go with us from life to life, and I find, Brahmins were very old souls, and if we dig deep in our sets of sanskaras, we can be very motherly, we can be fatherly, we can have that sort of engineering style side to our sanskaras, we can be very artistic and creative. So we have many sets of sanskaras because we've had so many lives and we've been in male and female bodies. So we've played so many different parts, cooking, all these sorts of things. So it's not necessary that if you're an architect in this life, that's the part. You might be sitting on the throne most of the time in the next life and someone else will be playing that part of an architect. But, one brother in Australia was telling me that, Baba says the palaces are built really quickly in the Golden Age. And he said to me, I wonder, and please don't quote that this is fact, I wonder whether they 3D print the palaces. And you know how they now 3D print? They can print things and they just, they print a material thing. And it makes a lot of sense to me because I don't think people will be doing hard physical work in the Golden Age. But we don't know. We don't know. Even, how Baba says there's gold everywhere in the Golden Age. And sometimes because of the mentality of the Iron Age, we think, oh, gold's so scarce here. But do you know that scientists, because they can go deeper and deeper into the core of the Earth, some scientists predict there's so much gold way down in the earth that you could pave all the land masses of the world. That is Europe, America, South America, Asia, Australia, all the continents, 0.5 meter deep in gold. That's how much gold there is. Because sometimes we think a palace all of gold, how can that really be? But actually, it will be a plentiful resource there.
That's why it's called the world of gold.
The world of gold. It's the world of gold, yes.
That's right. So there is a Sister Sujata who has raised her hand. So maybe I'll unmute her and she can ask the question.
Yes, thank you, Sister Sujata. Please.
Would you like to ask Sister Sujata?
Am I audible?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Please turn on your camera, Sister Sujata. I can't really hear you, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, it's not audible.
Am I audible now?
A little bit better. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, 1 minute. Huh? Am I visible now?
Yes, you are. We can see you as well now.
Yeah. Yeah. So my question is, apart from others' expectations, my own expectations, I feel always unfulfilled. Like I don't feel satisfied with what I am doing. I don't know whether it is really not good or I myself is not feeling satisfied with my work or my role.
You know, Sister Sujata, you're very good, but your expectations put pressure on yourself. And this is one of, expectations are a form of body consciousness where you want to be, sometimes they're totally unrealistic. And Gyan is about accepting who I am first. Secondly, accepting my strengths and my weaknesses. And accepting my part in drama. And when I really am soul conscious, I will let go these unrealistic expectations that most people have in body consciousness. No matter how well you do, it is never good enough. This is at the heart of ego in a way, that we make so much effort in my work, I make so much effort to support people, I make so much effort in my family, but it's never ever good enough, never ever good enough. That's actually my lack of self-respect, or my, shall we say, ego of inferiority. And this is really this is what this life is really about. In the golden age, you had natural self-respect. In this life, take the gift of self-respect back from Baba. It's the most beautiful gift. And my experience is the more I've had improved my self-respect, I feel easy about myself, relaxed about myself, and it makes such a difference to the enjoyment of your life. So just remember, you're very good. Just take the pressure of the expectations off that you are putting on yourself.
Yeah, I never feel satisfied, though I try to put good efforts in my personal role as well as professional role. But like people say, you are doing good, but I am feel unsatisfied with.
Can I tell you a secret, sisters?
Yeah.
98% of the world is the same. I've met people who are absolute leaders in their professional life, their worldly life, and yet they don't like who they are as a person. Really. And that often happens that, where we build a world outside, And I once met a billionaire in Australia, and you know what he said to me? I'm a total success out there and a total failure in here. His own words. He said, I'm not a happy person. Because we were talking about, what is success? Is success to make money, have a lot of fame, or is it to be a happy human being? To me, it's to be a happy human being. That is incredible success in this world, as we know it. So thank you, Sister Sujata. I think someone else wants to ask someone, or maybe Dati will tell me there's not enough time. I don't know.
Thank you, brother, for giving very nice answer to my question. I am very satisfied now with the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Sujata. Yes, just being short on time, maybe we can take up one last question. Someone is asking that I'm going through a tsunami now. How can I separate my body, or how can I feel separate from the soul so that I can think clearly and accurate? So it's very much like, how can I be detached and still see the scene of the drama?
You know, we're living at a time where all the old accounts are flushing out. They can be the accounts with my body, my health, the accounts in relationships with people, the accounts with wealth, so many different accounts. And if I'm very frank, I feel that most of us these days as BKs are very superficial in our soul conscious practice. We sort of just, oh, I believe I'm some sort of little dot that's hiding in the front of my forehead somewhere. You know, really the deep work of this Brahman life is to become a bodiless soul. And this is what I would really, rather than trying to do too many efforts, really become truly soul conscious. And I will tell you, automatically you'll be stronger, you'll be less influenced, you'll be less affected. Just really focus. And the yajna began with 14 years of intense soul conscious practice. Just imagine. And this is why the daddies had such a unique vibration, because they really lived in a soul conscious state. And I would say that there's a tsunami going on in the mind of the majority of the human race, unfortunately. Everything's upsetting us, everything's affecting us. You know, when I lose my power, I drink in all the atmosphere of the world. And this is why really, to go deep, not just have a belief like a devotee, just believe that I'm a soul, believe in Baba. No, that's the first step. I often say the first step is to know, the second step is to believe, the next 998 steps are educating myself how to experience, how to live in the awareness that I'm this totally subtle being, sitting near the pituitary gland, near the body, near the brain, sorry. You know, really we've got to go much, much deeper. The deeper we go, the more spiritual power we will feel in my life. Yes, I'm afraid we're going to have to continue and finish soonish. So thank you so much, everybody. And I'm sorry we don't have more time for questions. And actually, if there's ever another chance, happy to come on and share, you know, even maybe just with questions and answers, because there's so much to learn in this life for all of us, whoever you are, so much to learn. So someone is just asking, you know, I'm just going to share just very briefly, Dati Ben, and then we'll have some meditation. But, you know, for my Brahman life, which has been 47 years now, I've absolutely focused on soul consciousness. I realized, you know, you can practice to be more patient, you can practice to be more tolerant, you can practice to have good wishes, you can practice detachment. But sometimes we don't see any result because I'm practicing too many things. But if you go deep into one thing, soul consciousness, you will be more patient, you will be more tolerant, you know, you will have good wishes. And I've done experiments in the laboratory of my mind. I do one experiment over months. You know, the experiment to experience what it means to be incorporeal. We just hear that word. We teach it to others. But what's the feeling? You know, when I was once talking to Didi Manmohini, who was the great yogi, except for Brahma Baba, in my experience, she was the great yogi in the yajna when I came. I said, Didi, do you have all the efforts to make what's the most important? Straight away she said to be incorporeal. And I've done months and months of experiments. And I keep asking myself, how does it feel to be a non-physical being in the physical world? And you know the result? I felt so detached from this material world in such a sweet way. I was in the world, I was feeling I was responsible doing things, but I felt uninfluenced. It felt so much freedom, actually. And this really I've done experiments on the nature of the soul, experiments on the form of the soul. This is where we need to go deep, deep, deep. And this is when the power comes in Brahman life. When I don't just believe I'm a soul, but I'm actually experiencing the reality of being an eternal soul. So let's just have a few moments, excuse my throat today, a few moments of meditation, and then we'll have to finish up. For these few moments, let me put down my phones, let me sit properly. And follow the thoughts suggested. I am an eternal soul, a minute spark of life energy, sitting lightly in the forehead. In my subconscious, I have an eternal part. My part, the part with God, the part in the golden age, the highest part of the cycle. Do I carry this happiness, my part in the drama? I remember the fortune, my part. It will automatically cancel out all the small misfortunes and problems. But when I forget the fortune of my part, I start to remember all the petty misfortunes and problems. Let me sit in this awareness of who I am. And through the eye of my mind, visualize Shiv Baba. Just hold this one thought. I, the soul, in love with the Supreme. Baba is an unlimited ocean of love, pure love, divine love. Allow yourself to be completely loved by Baba. Just feel this love entering the core of your being. Feel this love healing me, empowering me, refreshing me. And observe that as much as I feel this pure love, this divine love from Baba, my self-respect will grow. I know my own value. And when I know my own value, I will love my part in drama I will accept my part in drama. I will become content. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Chalibai. Thank you for filling us with so many points on drama. And drama is such that it tested me instantly. I was kicked out from the meeting. And I must say I failed. So need to practice more. So, but I really appreciate your time with us, and I appreciate everyone who has joined us today. So it was really nice having you all on board. And again, we have Brother Charlie with us this evening as well. It's a program for Loki, and the topic is through self-care. It is possible, you're finding balance through self-care. And it's this evening from 5 to 6:30. So if you know anyone, or if you invite your family and friends, and the program is going to be in English, but there will be the translation, the Hindi translation available as well. So thank you all, and Om Shanti, and have a great day.
Thank you, Sister Dati. Thank you, everyone. Lovely to be with you. Thanks for your time. Om Shanti. Thank you.